Today is a divine day because it's about a human like God who created God like humans. While the human like God disappeared from the eyes of the world, he left behind the legacy of so many God like humans like you. And that is why this day is divine. Because it is not the end of an event, but it's the beginning of so many more events. And as our Srinivas put it, it's about one heart beating in millions of bodies. And that is what is meant by divinizing this humanity. Divine comes as human so that humans become divine. That is the ultimate purpose. There is no other role. God's descent is for man's ascent. But that's the only purpose why God comes. Everything else is secondary to God. Building hospitals, schools, projects, services, all kinds of things are secondary. The primary purpose is to divinize the human beings. And if everything had happened and this had not happened, then the mission had not happened. God would have failed in his mission if he had not divinized so many humans and just built hospitals, schools, water projects and left. That could not be God. God is this, who has created so many gods like him. And today as we sit under this great big red heart that represents that God's heart, which alone can be so large, so as to accommodate everybody into it. We truly celebrate this occasion. We don't lament the past, but we celebrate the present today. What greater way of offering tribute to someone so dear, to someone whom we revere, adore, respect? Definitely it can't be by putting a big garland on a photo. That would not be what is supposed to be done. It wouldn't be about coming together and giving talks about all the past that has gone by, and rather crying about it than celebrating it. But the best way to celebrate 24th of April ever since we came to Fiji is to do something for others in that divine name. And today as Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Children's Heart Hospital opens to the people of Fiji and the Pacific Island, we are just doing that, celebrating the divinity in all the people. There could not have been a better way of celebration than to give back more and more to the people of the world who need us. And imagine every child, every parent who goes out of this hospital, they carry a small certificate, gift of life certificate, and that carries the name Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani. They may not know who Sri Satya Sai is, but they know what Sri Satya Sai has done for them. Whoever it might be. It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to us also. What matters is what this has done to them. When they go home and tell whether Jesus answered their prayer or Buddha answered their prayer or some other God answered their prayer, it doesn't matter to us. Because the prayer has been answered and it is one God, one heart which answers all the prayers. Someday they will realize who it is. But that doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is that on this day we don't cry and lament and speak about all that has happened and can never happen again, but rather celebrate this presence, this omnipresence on this day by giving more and more in his name to more and more people of the world. What better tribute to a guru? A guru dakshina, is one must give a guru dakshina. In guru dakshina means to offer our gratitude to the guru. Fortunately, there is nothing called God dakshina, but he doesn't accept anything other than love. But guru dakshina does exist. So I always insist, while we want to place everything in a bigger pedestal and stay away and say that is not us and we can't be that. But I want to bring it down to this level that no, above anything else, it's not about the messenger, it is about the message. Messengers have been many and they all given the same message. Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Allah all came to this land. All of them brought the message of love, to love your fellow man. So all of them were messengers. Unfortunately, most of the time we got stuck with the messengers, the names and forms, and never could come out of this idea of attributing all the goodness to a certain place, time or a person. The message is important, and that is the right way to offer our tribute, when we follow the message more than the messenger. I came to Fiji that time in 2015. There were 500 people, I was telling the other day. 500 devotees had gathered in an auditorium. There was a huge crowd. And I wondered, oh, there are so many followers. But now I realized they were all followers of the messenger and not the message. The followers of the message are only these few. All those green sari-clad ladies and a few yellow and some yellow there. Can you believe this is all the team is, which can build an ashram, which can build medical centers, build hospital like this, and so much more. And none of them have built this before in their lives. This is the first time. They're all young mothers. Krupali had a baby 3 years ago, when this thing was starting. And here is Sonia. She has a baby almost the same age. And Namrata has two. Sheetal had a baby, Dhru. All this happened in the 3 years in their lives, 3 or 4 years, 5 years time. They are mothers, young mothers who also had to work in this hospital, work for the hospital. They were all young fathers who have a career to make, or so to say, look forward to a life of some purpose, achievement and status, but they gave up all that. They worked 24/7 for a cause like this. And such a small group of people have achieved so much. Imagine all of us in this whole room can do so much more. And all those who are watching us live or whatever in the Zoom, there are so many more good people. That is what I was saying. We have to be God-like humans. We are humans, no doubt. We'll be born as humans, but we should become God. That is the end of our life's journey. And these hospitals are just hospitals of transformation, to transform humans into divine. And that is the main purpose. While children will get their operation, we must get our transformation out of it. Otherwise, what is in it for us then? So we must become divine, we must become God. That is the right thing to do. Especially we have to dedicate ourselves to this idea, pledge ourselves to this purpose on this very day. Because this is the reason why whatever happened on this day. That we all become divine. And there are so many more such as I've seen walking, talking, breathing, working through so many of us. That is the purpose. And that purpose is being achieved one day at a time through all these noble souls. I know Sumit very well because I know him as a young boy singing songs. Imagine a singer building a hospital. But he had to sacrifice. He wanted to settle down in Bollywood there in Bombay. I said, nothing doing, you must come back to Fiji. And he came back to Fiji. Kripali was trying to become a successful doctor, well settled in life, comfortable life in Australia, and a developed country. Her children could grow up there in better schooling and better education facilities. But I told, no, you must come and work in Fiji. As she said, the promise was made and it had to be kept up. And she kept up the promise. She came back and started working over here. So are all these young people who never left the shores and worked for this hospital. Just now our Srinivas was telling that Sean is the best choice to start this hospital. Yes, truly. In fact, all these people are the best choices that I have made. All of you are best choice. You know who is my best choice? My best choice is the one who has no choice at all other than following whatever I say. Or he rather keeps no choice at all, but just decides your will is my will and let us do. They are my best choice. Otherwise, God doesn't choose everybody. He has billions of people. But He chooses only those who choose Him. Who choose Him over everything else. Who choose Him and Him alone. To the exclusivity of everything else in life. They are the best choice of God. And you are all the best choice of God. How wonderful to be chosen by God. How wonderful it is. Of course, it's hard work, it's sacrifice, it's a lot of commitment, dedication. But which work in this world does not demand that, you tell me? Every work demands that. But this work is sacred. What we do helps so many more people, transforms so many more people. So the impact of it is infinite, which has no beginning, no middle, no end. It's eternal. That is the work that you all are doing. I'm so grateful to this team here and thankful to them. They were saying, thank you for giving us the opportunity. And I must thank them for taking the opportunity. And I'm sure this hospital is going to make history. Rewrite the history of medical care, the way it's given, the way it is received, by removing commerce from the equation and putting love into the equation. And that's where infinity comes. That's where expanse comes. That's where impossible becomes possible, when you put love into that. Because no calculations, no commerce, no commoditization, that's when everything becomes infinite. Willing to do God's will is the best choice that one can make in life. Every other choice is a waste at the end. This one choice alone helps us to become divine, to just do God's will. What fortune we have, we get the guidance to do it. We don't have to go searching for God. God comes searching for us, telling us what to do with our lives. Can we ask for a greater honor, a greater privilege? Should we not just grab it with both the hands and say, yes, we will do whatever you say? Not look this way or that way. This is our commitment. This is how we should be. So I'm so happy because every time we come to Fiji, we made it a point to come in April. And during this time, we always want to do something new, something more. And that happens every time we come. And you all make it happen. So you are very blessed people. And in times to come alone, you will realize the blessing that has come your way. And I am very grateful to all the people. And I have Bob here. He has come all the way from US. And his beloved wife, Barbara, is there, great devotee. She would fight a lot, but then with God, not with him. But she was a great devotee, and she passed away a few years ago. I wanted to do something in her name, and the name of the Operation Theatre, we named it as Barbara Bozani Operation Theatre. It's not to really honor one person or not honor another. It's simply to tell the rest of the world what kind of people it takes to do things like this. But these things are not falling from heaven. These are not just appearing from nowhere. It's hard work. It's sacrifice. It's commitment. It's dedication. That is what I want to leave behind. The people, when they come and ask, who are these people? They must know this is the history of this hospital. These are the kind of people who have worked behind the scenes. So that is why it is. It's a very small team, but I'm sure in times to come it will grow. And the dream would be to have a local, fully trained team in Fiji which can run the hospital forever. That is the idea. So Sean is starting it off, but I'm sure you, Kupali, and Nandini from Dr. Pillai's daughter, and our Sanjeevani team, of course, our Srinivas is here. They all will work together. I don't want the hospital to be quiet. It should be working continuously, because we may think it's okay if we don't do something for 2 days. But in 2 days, we don't know which mother is crying where for, and what every single breath of this child is impossible at home. Can't. So those 2 days are very heavy on that mother and the child. It may be just a day or two for us. So let's do as much as possible every single day, and learn to balance this both. The balance of both the worlds you must have. You cannot become extreme either side. It is no good. You should know how to balance both. 30th, I think we are going to start the surgeries, and there are 30 children who will line up. There are 30 children out of all the children that were screened are lined up for the surgeries, and a huge team is coming here, and they're going to do the surgeries. I'm sure everything will go on very well. And within a week, there will be another small celebration to mark the completion of these surgeries after that. 27th is the official opening with the Prime Minister of Fiji, and hopefully some representation from India, and many other dignitaries would be joining. It will take 2 days to just get the theatres ready, fumigate and all that. So from 30th, they'll start the surgeries. I'm very happy that you all have come from many countries. I'm sure some countries we missed also, but I think there's Japanese over here. Some people are from Japan. Because the US is always there. And we have people from India. Some kind of Sri Lanka, because Sutta is here. So yeah, he's part Sri Lankan. So he and his family and people at Sri Lanka, including the company that Gary owns, they are working on building the next hospital in Sri Lanka. So you can trace the hospital back below India. There's one heart beating there. So that's where we are going to go next. Yeah, all the way from Fiji to Sri Lanka to do the next hospital, and we are planning to start the first phase of it in this August. So first week of August, mostly first or second week of August. That's where, it's a huge hospital, it's much bigger than this, but then we are going to start with one floor and slowly grow up. And Sri Lanka is going through the kind of crisis that we all know about. This is the time they need the help the most. So we should go and at least provide general medical services there, mother and child services. We'll do pediatric screening, we'll have theaters, so once in a while medical mission like this can go and do even pediatric work, but it will be a general facility for all the people to benefit from. That is going on in India. As you all know, the hospital was opened, the Shadla Memorial Hospital, and now it's growing into a medical college. Again, that medical college named after Dr. Sri Rajeshwari Srinivasa's mother, who was one of the first ladies to come. Again, choice made, leaving a plush, comfortable career as a doctor in 60s. You can imagine what a wonderful thing to be in the US and things like that. Leaving all that, starting a small shed-like hospital. This is all luxury. Those hospitals were just in sheds. And they worked. They worked in those hospitals and did whatever they could. So that's an academic block that's coming up, and day and night work is going on. Again, many of you are a part of that project too. And eventually a bigger hospital is going to come up too. All these wonderful things are happening, all because of, as I said, you all, and many more like you around the world. And we don't need the whole world to do this. A few good people in the world, if they decide to do good, so much can be achieved. But I'm sure as time passes, many children who are treated here or who are getting educated, they all will get so inspired to do so much more good in the world. And that's how this good will promote itself, propagate itself. This is the idea. We are opening several mother and child hospitals. See, this is a small intervention but great impact. And that is what he is doing across the country in India. And of course now we are moving out to Sri Lanka. And slowly here also I want to have the mother and child screening center. The next one can be used for that. So that timely intervention will avoid these kind of mishaps. So that we will do here. This is the work. And then they have younger generation. I told some of them to become doctors too. Some of them to become surgeons and doctors, so they can look after these things in the coming times. Everybody has work to do, you see. Everybody can contribute in their own way. But I'm very happy that this has happened. And every year something like this should keep happening. And every 24th April we should send out a big, loud and clear message to the world. And we are not here to cry about anything. We are here to celebrate. We are here to convey our gratitude. It should be the way, isn't it? As people of God, we must do this way only. I don't want any other way. And we have a beautiful ashram here by this seaside. So I have invited people in batches to come there. Today one batch and another day another batch. So they also see the ashram. It's a beautiful ashram. I want to develop that into a nice spiritual center because everybody likes a Fijian holiday, isn't it? People from around the world, they come here. Why don't we have Fijian holidays instead at the ashram? So that is my idea. We'll keep Fiji in the Pacific as a spiritual center as well. So because it's equidistant from the western side or the eastern side of the world, we can come here and very nicely located in the middle of ocean. You know. So we will develop that into a better ashram. I was telling on the way to our Sumit's father also, Mahendraji, that we should develop that a little better. But we will do step by step. It's very beautiful. Sunrises and sunsets. And God loves nature, isn't it? Because He created it. The purest expression of divinity is nature. So naturally, you want to be in the natural settings. Society, the cities are the most unnatural settings. That's not how divine wanted it. So go back to nature. So we will all visit there and have a little bhajan and bhojan also. What more should I say? I'm very happy, and this is just the beginning and the long way to go. But I'm sure the journey is going to be both adventurous as well as joyous for all of us. But we must walk hand in hand, in step with each other, so that we help each other grow into gods, and in the process the world also gets transformed. Very happy. Let this day remain this way. Let us all enjoy. There was a day when our Srinivas was holding on to the feet and crying. This was the same day. That was the same moment when the Divine decided to disembody himself. He was there, and in that moment, and he was crying, holding onto the feet, felt abandoned, felt orphaned at that moment. And today he again holds onto the feet and cries in joy. For there is so much purpose in life, so much to do, so much to look forward to. And that presence, as I said, the omnipresence, the beauty of it. You experience every moment in that child's smile, in that mother's relief, in this father's joy. You experience that omnipresence. You should see God in those eyes. Whenever you talk to those people, look into their eyes and you'll see the God shining. You'll see Swami seeing you through those eyes. That is omnipresence. This is a trick you must learn. If you want to find Him, look into the eyes of those who have been relieved, who has been served, and you'll see Him smile through their eyes. And you know He's there inside. That is our way of finding things, God's. So this is what He is doing. Much more will be done, and we will definitely be, as He said, don't leave me, He was telling, no, she was telling. He was telling, don't leave me. It's difficult to hold on to me. It's not easy. And I keep increasing the bar, I keep increasing the standard. I keep increasing the demand for sacrifices. So that's why you have to hold on to me, you have to rise with me. You can't be on the ground and also fly in the sky. It's not going to happen. You have to leave the ground to be with me in the skies. So be willing to do that. Let go. Let go of this fear, this anxiety. Let go of this I and mine thinking. It has to go. Otherwise we can't be gods. So if you want to come fly with me in the skies, give up the earthly ways. Give up this wanting to be on the ground. Be free. That is freedom.